I ain't gonna lie, man. Throughout the time that I spent going in and out of courtrooms, I done seen all types of different crazy things. I done seen people do the stupidest stuff, do the craziest, do the worstest thing there is possible. Me, I never really been that type to do anything or try to cause a scene inside of the courtroom or try to make me look some type of way that I ain't. But for this one, man, I'm gonna tell y'all the time that I threw up inside of the courtroom because I was nervous. So let's get into it. I'm the best, finna be this way till I EOS. Take it how you want, nigga, yeah, I'm a pro. Fuck around and bust your lot while you're at Vizzo. I hate to be this way, but I live for the moment. Waking up every day, show me an opponent. Shanks on deck, hitting bitch with locks. So much pool, I can even start you from the box. You don't wanna pay rent, got me bent. Got lax on deck, your money was well spent. Vultures on the prowl, so don't try testing. Step 2, cause violent first steps, finessing. You a hold down man, suitcase this. My cell phone, I'm a charger, don't walk with a limp. Get it knocked off or missing, you gon' get it. Next time I see you ass, you gon' leave airlifted. What's up, y'all? You already know, man. KFROG TV back in the building. Y'all go ahead and do me that solid favor, man. Make sure you hit that like, subscribe button. And also make sure you hit the notification bell so you can see it first. Welcome back to the channel, y'all. Today I'm going to tell y'all about the time that I, myself, threw up inside of a courtroom because of how nervous I was. Okay? Now, we taking it way, way, way back with this video. Okay? Because this was literally like my first time as a juvenile inside of the courtroom. Okay? Now, before I tell you how it all went down, let me explain to you a little bit. This wasn't my first juvenile charge, but every time that I would get arrested as a juvenile, you know, I'd get 21 days in the detention center. But I remember the first few times, I just seen a judge on a TV screen. You get what I'm saying? Like magistrate. I didn't actually go inside of a courtroom. You see what I'm saying? And it was like easily, you know, able to accept the fact that, okay, I got to do this time, this 21 days. You know, it didn't really feel that big of a deal when somebody behind a TV screen was giving me the 21 days in the detention center. You see what I'm saying? Because down here in Broward County, that's normally what you get as a juvenile. You know, 21 days is what they hand out normally. Of course, you can get sentenced to like juvenile programs and them shits are longer. But I'm talking about in the detention center. All right. Now, what had me so spooked and had my stomach turning and had me having the butterflies while I was going to this actual court date. What made this one different than any other time getting in trouble was the fact that while I was in the detention center, I had caught an additional 21 days, 2 different times, which means I got in trouble while I was in the detention center. I was already sentenced to 21 days, and I ended up getting into some shit and caught another 21 days. The first time was for fighting. All right, they actually gave me an actual extra 21 days, and I ended up having to do 42 days because of fighting. All right, now it wasn't just because of one simple fight. It was more the fact that after all the warnings and after them, you know, constantly telling us not to fight, don't do this, don't do that. It was the fact that the way that I got into the fight. All right, like I felt like somebody got the best of me in a situation. So he was bigger than me, you know, at the time, you know what I'm saying? I was outnumbered, you know. So I waited till his ass was sitting down in the horseshoe is what they call it. And I walked by and I teed off on that boy. But what it was is everybody was teeing off. You know, we were all jits, okay? Teeing off means you pop off on somebody. You know what I'm saying? Everybody was doing that. So it wasn't like I was the only one, you know. I'm fitting in the way that the shit's ran in there. You know, I got to do what I got to do. So I guess due to the fact that the guards were right there, the officers were in there playing dominoes with everybody, you know, and I did it. So they decided to give me an extra 21 days. And even when they did that, I did not go inside of a courtroom. You see, that was the time before. Now, the second time that I was already in the detention center for 21 days, and I caught an additional 21 days after that, was because I got in trouble, got in a fight. They put me in, it's supposed to be confinement, supposed to be the hole, you know what I'm saying? Which, for anyone who's ever been to Broward County's detention center, you know them cells that you see when you're walking back from like the chow hall and all that. Them cells you see before you go into B1, B2, or B3. there's these single cells out there in the hallway. Those right there are supposed to be, you know, the box. So they put me in there, and when they put me in there, I was bored, you know. I'd cause ruckus. Anybody that would walk by, I'd be banging on the door, hitting my head on the door, banging it, kicking it, stuff like that. I ended up having a pen. So with the pen, I drew on my mat, you know, my bed that they had in there. It was a mat. I drew on there. And by me drawing on there, they took the mat out, put it on the outside of the door to where when everybody would walk by, they'd see the mat, because you got to walk around it, and you look in there, and then it was me in there with no mat. They actually gave me another 21 days for that situation right there, for drawing on, I guess, state property or whatever it was. And next thing you know, I was, you know, thinking that I had it all figured out. So I felt like, shit, I already been caught 21 before. I've already got an additional 21 before. It is what it is, you know. I was young, dumb, you know, ignorant at times, but who cares, you know? Going through that type of shit made me who I am today. So next thing you know, I'm thinking another 21 ain't nothing. They come around, they tell me, now you're getting ad charge. Now you're getting ad charge. So I'm telling them, run it. I don't care. Run it. Ain't nothing. I don't care. This shit pie. You know, thinking I got it all figured out. Next thing you know, a couple days go by, they cuff me up and they put me in the paddy wagon. You know, I ain't even jump in the Bluebird, not even the big bus, the paddy wagon, just a little van. You see what I'm saying? And they drove me to the courthouse. But I remember the whole time as I'm driving, I'm like, man, where we going? They're like, you got court. So I'm like, what you mean I got court, right? So it had me kind of spooked, because now I'm going to a courthouse rather than just going to the TV room and seeing it on a screen. So, you know, I had to, like, I couldn't show no, you know, weaknesses. I had to act like I was with the shits, because I already done came this far. So as we're getting transported, I'll never forget, there was an officer. His name was Debo. That was the officer's name. He looked just like the guy that plays Debo on Friday. You know what I'm saying? And he literally was our transporting officer. And as Debo's transporting us to the courthouse, I'm sitting back there, boy, and I'm looking. And it's my first experience ever in their custody, shackled and handcuffed, and I'm being transported through the city of Fort Lauderdale. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking around and shit. We even stopped at a gas station to get gas at like a Chevron or something like that. And I'm sitting in it and I'm just looking around and I'm like, damn, this is a totally different experience than the last time I caught 21 days or the time before that. So in my mind, I'm nervous now. But I can't show no weakness. I got to keep my chin up. But my mind's spinning in circles. I'm like, boy, they finna hide me forever. You know what I'm saying? Like, I done played. You know, I wonder what they put in that paperwork. You know, what the hell they got going on. You know, like, I'm thinking, like, I ain't never getting out now. So next thing you know, we finally make it to the courthouse. Now, when we make it to the courthouse, they bring me in, like, through the back wise. But when they bring me through the back, they don't take me all the way up into the floor that I'm supposed to have court at. Instead, they bring me to these, like, stairway, and it's looks like all you see is like old stairs. And I go up these old stairs with these people, and I'm walking, you know, I got the shackles on. I got to go up one step at a time, you feel me? And as we're walking, it's me, the guard, and there's like two other people, you know, like two other inmates that are like, you know, young, you know, same as me, they from the detention center and shit. But the way that they're acting as we're getting there compared to the way I am, I'm thinking like, I really ain't meant or built for this shit yet, I don't think. Boy, they was acting like, you know, either they were putting up a good, you know, face card throughout the situation, or they really don't care. They act like they've been through this before. I haven't, you know, so I was like observing them a lot. And you know what I'm saying? I'm looking at them like, man, I don't deserve to be going through this shit. You feel me? I ain't doing what they be doing. I ain't acting like that. I just fucked up and, you know, maybe I bit off more than I could chew. So as we're going up the stairs, they take us out like a couple floors lower than, I guess, where my courtroom was. So we weren't able to like take the stairs all the way up to, I don't remember the exact floor it was, but they had us walk up the stairs enough to where we were a couple floors under. Then we had to walk through the actual hallways of the courthouse, you know, like where people are walking around, people that have court, like, you know, civilians, people like lawyers and people that work in the courthouse, or people that got court dates. And they're walking us, you know, like through these people, you know, walking us around, and we're like real deal prisoners. You know what I'm saying? That's what it felt like. And we didn't all have the same judge. So as we're walking up the stairs thing like that, you know, they separate us. They take them two dudes one way and they take me another way. You feel me? So as I'm going through this whole shit, walking through here, I'm by myself. I'm the only person getting, you know, escorted with these officers through real courthouse. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking like, boy, I done fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Like this right here, boy, I know I'm getting banned. I know, boy, they trying to hide me or something. Boy, I must have overstepped my boundaries when I was doing whatever I did, right? And in my mind, I'm thinking like, I'm the most wrong person there. Like, are the other two dudes, why they ain't with me? Are they going through this same shit? Or are they going to somewhere and watching something on a TV? You know what I'm saying? So the whole time, boy, my stomach's just turning, right? But I'm walking, I'm trying to, you know, I can't just newton up, but go with the flow. And you know you got shackles on, so you got to keep it pushing, or else, you know what I'm saying, they're going to push you. Keep it moving, just like you see in the movies. But I'm a kid, though. You see what I'm saying? I'm young. You feel me? So next thing you know, we go through, they walk me right in through the front door. Like, not even the back, like you see like in the county jail. And as you get older and stuff, they usually bring you from behind, like the courthouse, and you come in and you sit up there. Man, they walked me straight in the front door and had me sit the front row. Like the front row of like the closest to where the judge and all them are. They had me sitting in the front row right there. So I'm sitting there. Next thing you know, as I'm sitting there, there's a couple more kids though. So I'm like, all right. But these kids were wearing orange. You know, like they got direct filed, which means they got charged as an adult already. So they were minors, but they were actually, you know, taken out of the detention center's, you know, custody and been charged as an adult and got put on the juvenile floor in the main jail. So they're all wearing orange. I'm the only one that's wearing khaki. You know, I was in B3 at the time. I'll never forget. That was the dorm I was in the detention center. We only have 4 of them. We got B1, B2, and B3, and then we got G1 for the girls. So I'm sitting, I'm the only one in khaki. These dudes are all in orange, and they're like wildly, like they're wild and everything, all up inside the courtroom. The people on the other side, like where the judge is yelling at them and shit like that, telling them to shut up, calm down, stop talking, this and that. And you could just tell, like, my vibe and their vibe was totally 2 different vibes. You know what I'm saying? So I'm sitting there, boy, nervous. Next thing you know, they call a couple cases. I'm looking around and shit. You know, there's, not to mention where we're sitting at in this front row right here. We're not inside the wall like where people that go to, you know, jail are, you know, or where you walk in through the two little walled areas to go up near the judge. We're on the outside. We're like where the people on the outside, like the streets sit. We're just the very first row. But every other row is filled with actual people coming to court. You know, so in my mind, I'm like, boy, this is a real judge. You know, this real deal shit. You know, ain't no way in hell they put this together just to scare us. It's real deal. So as we're sitting there, boy, the whole time, boy, they're calling people. One after another. People over here, one after another, after the, you know, one kid after another, then regular people, shit like that. Next thing you know, I hear my name. I look up. Sitting there. Oh, and you got to stand up the whole time when they call your name. You got to stand up so they can see which one of you it is. So as I stand up, I'm standing there. And the judge, he's like, oh, you decided to, you know, break the law by writing on property of the Department of DJJ, you know, juvenile justice system, this and that and stuff, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just standing there and I'm looking at him. And then he looks at me and he looks back down. He picks the paper and he looked like he was going to say something and he didn't. And then he said, and I'm sitting there like, oh, shit. And boy, my stomach was just turning, right? The whole time it's just turning. I'm standing there. So they give me 21 days, right? Like, which I've already gotten before. But it was just the fact of being there, you know, like being in front of the judge for my very first time inside of a courtroom like that. And then not to mention when I'm looking around, the people who are on the outside that have court, you know, they got family members with them and shit. My family don't even know I got court right now. My peoples don't even know I'm at a courthouse right now. They think I'm in the detention center. They don't even know I'm over here doing it. So I had, like, in my eyes, I had no backup or nobody who cared about me or anything. You know what I'm saying? So I'm thinking like, damn, you know, like these other people, they had like these other kids, some of them had parents and shit sitting behind us, but I was like, damn, they had more of a heads up than I did. You right? So that boy had me standing there, right? And then after he gave me the 21 days, on top of the 21 days I was already serving, you know, and then shit, he was like, give me 1 second. And then he starts looking around, he's shifting through papers and shit, and all this different stuff. So I'm just standing there. And that would literally, yo, no lie, I know I was sentenced to 5 years in prison before, and I've been through numerous, you know, court dates and everything. But that 1 minute to 2 minutes that he had me standing there while he was shifting around looking for papers and shit felt like the longest wait of my life. Okay, that right there, I was standing there so nervous. All the lights that were inside of the courtroom, them shits looked all tingly and shit to me. You know, like I was nervous as hell. You know, literally, like I ain't even gonna lie to y'all. Like the way my stomach felt and everything like that. And then he had me standing there waiting. I'm like, boy, 21 ain't enough. You know what I'm saying? Like that boy trying to send me somewhere. That's what I was thinking. And what threw me off was after me standing there and him shuffling around looking in the papers and everything, he just said, all right, next case, you know, like he didn't even say anything else. So he just had me standing there spooked for no reason, you know, and it stuck with me to where I felt like maybe he was going to give me a harsher sentence or add something to it. And he didn't. He spared me. You feel me? But boy, I tell you what, once he went straight to the next case and I sat down and I was just sitting there and, you know, it was just to the point to where like I couldn't take enough, like take no more. Man, I leaned over like this, right? And blah, threw up all where my feet were, like against the wall and my seat. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know how the seats are in most courtrooms. It's kind of like the same type of seats you see in a church where it's like the benches. It's them like long wooden benches normally. So we were all on one bench and here was the wall. Man, I threw up all where my feet were. And one of the kids next to me was like, hey man, you all right? And I looked at him and I said, yeah, I'm good. And then they said, come on, y'all, let's go. And I walked up and they walked us out. And shit like that. Like the guards didn't even see me throw up. One kid seen me throw up. The other one's probably seen it from a distance. But man, I ain't give a damn. I just wanted to get out of that courtroom. You see what I'm saying? And it was to the point to where like I remember after I threw up, man, I had like the sweats. You know, like I felt so warm, like cold and warm at the same time. And I had the sweats from it, bro. Like I was nervous as hell because I'd never been through this type of situation. You see what I'm saying? And it's crazy because like me looking back at it just shows like, even though I went through that, even though I threw up inside the courtroom, that shows how nervous I was. You know, nauseous. I was nauseous as hell. That's what all the tingling shit was. Probably felt like I was finna pass out because my mind was spinning in circles. You know what I'm saying? And me looking at this shit for the very first time. I don't have nobody there to make me feel like I could do whatever they're gonna throw at me. You know, I gotta be ready. You know, it just happened so quick, but it felt so long. You get what I'm saying? And it just shows, even going through all this type of stuff at a young age, you know, being so nervous, scared at that young age, it did not change anything. I went back to the detention center a bunch of times, started going through them same type of court dates like they were nothing. Not nauseous, not nervous, not nothing. Got used to the same little trays, the same little juice, and the same little snacks that they give you in the detention center like it was nothing. You get what I'm saying? It was like, once I went past that and seen how it was, I got familiar with that judge. That judge got familiar with me too. I ended up going back a couple times until he finally sent me to a program. You see what I'm saying? And then the program ended up supposed to be in 6 to 9 months, but I ended up being in there almost 2.5 years. You see what I'm saying? So it was like, it just showed like I needed to go through those type of things. You feel me? I needed to see what was bad and what made me scared and what made it to where I could see the true me. You know, I had to go through these type of things to where I know I don't want to go through it no more. You get what I'm saying? Even though at the time when I was younger, it wasn't the case. I went through that shit multiple times after that. But it was still the fact that nowadays I can look back at it. And I could, you know, when my kids get older, I could tell my kids they don't want to go down that path. That's why my oldest son's a straight A student. It's been like that for 4 years. You know what I'm saying? But it's the fact that I went through that stuff, you know, basically so other people, you know, will know the truth of the experience and what it's really like from me being the one that went through it. You see what I'm saying? And I know how it can be. I know when times can be tough, can be scary and stuff like that. And at the end of the day, there's nothing you could do about it other than don't put yourself in that place. You see what I'm saying? Like if you're scared of going somewhere, if that makes you, you know, spooky or gives you nauseous or gives you the chills or your butterflies and it really scares the shit out of you, then obviously don't go through that type of stuff. But what it was is, that was just the first time that it was spooky to me. So it was different. You know, I didn't have my parents. I didn't have, you know, and I felt like by me being a juvenile, they had to know where I was and they didn't know where I was. And then I don't get to call home until they call for a certain amount of people to use the phone for a couple minutes. And I'm like, damn, I get to call my peoples in 4 days to tell them that I caught 21 more days. You know, it was like different to me. And that shit had me so nervous, y'all, that I threw up inside the courtroom. You see what I'm saying? I mean, damn, it is what it is, right? I mean, nothing I could do about it. I was young at the time. And trust me when I tell you this. After that, I gave them people so much time after that. And I regret it. You know what I'm saying? Because even though the signs were there, you know, even though I had a chance to, you know, switch my life around, to go a different way, it was just I could not get out of the type of lifestyle and the things around me as I grew up. So I just constantly kept getting into stuff. Constantly. And the reason I look back at it, like, it's not really much of a regret, but it's more of a like, I did waste a lot of time. You get what I'm saying? I gave them a few years as a juvenile. I gave them years as an adult, you know? And even though I wasn't really missing nothing but good times, memories is all you have, you know, when you get older, all you have is memories. You get what I'm saying? Pictures and shit and all that stuff, you know, eventually that shit's materialistic. That shit gonna poof. But the memory's gonna stay with you until the day you're gone. So it's like a lot of times I missed out on so many like parties, so much times hanging out with my friends, you know, things that everybody was doing while I was locked up, you see? So my memories, whether it's from young age or as I got older, a lot of my time of memories has to do with being locked up. You understand? And I feel like I have more memories like that than I do of ones enjoying life in the free world. You see? And it's just because, you know, I took too long to do my transformation. But it is what it is. We did our transformation now. So, hey, you know what it is. You know what I'm saying? They say, you know, better late than never. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. But I ain't gonna lie, me throwing up in that courtroom, boy, had me so nervous. And I wish it would have like scared the shit out of me more, but it really didn't, you know. I even got put in a scared straight program before. If y'all have ever heard about that, where they bring you in, they try to scare you and all this different shit to make you straighten up and everything, you know. And I remember getting sand thrown on me and getting pushed in like a sand pit, like water thrown on me and get pushed in a sand pit, and they were making me roll a long ass log up a hill, and they were screaming at me, making me jog and doing all this different, doing jumping jack. Like, I remember getting put in a scared straight thing and thinking like, okay, this is what my parents, you know, are putting me in to try to get me to straighten up. But I was more of like, I know that they're trying to do this to scare me. So since I knew they were purposely trying to do it to scare me, it didn't scare me like it should have. Going in that damn courtroom for the very first time like that, with no family around me, with other kids that acted like they got where they meant to be at, you know what I'm saying? That right there scared me and didn't even change nothing. I just threw up a little bit because of how nervous I was. And next thing you know, after I did the other 21 days they gave me while I was in there, when I got out, later on, I caught some more charges and went right back for 21 more days. You see what I'm saying? But the charges isn't really what the video's about. It's more the fact to let y'all know how I threw up inside of the courtroom. If you were somebody that ever been through anything like that or seen crazy stuff or anything like that inside of a courtroom, drop it in the comment section. Because I've seen people pull all types of stunts inside of the courtroom. I've seen people that would literally get peanut butter and try to act like they shit themselves and put peanut butter all up on them and everything and then make it look like they, you know, were eating it, you know, like they'd shit their pants on purpose. So you smell shit. And then they got peanut butter squeeze in their hand and they're eating it and rubbing it on their face while they shit. So you smell shit. So the first thing people think is he's over here eating shit. You know, oh, there's something wrong with them. And, you know, and then they do that to go psych. You know, like, there's different things you'll see happen inside of courtrooms, and it's crazy. Mine wasn't crazy. Mine was just because I had the butterflies. I was nauseous. Everything was tingling. You know, it would have been crazy if I would have passed out. You feel me? But hey, it is what it is. But I felt like sharing this video with y'all. If y'all ever been scared when you was inside of a courtroom, whether it was a young age, old age, whatever it is, drop it in the comment section, because I tell you what, people love to read these comments, and it ain't just my videos that help people around the world. It's what you put in the comment section also. I appreciate y'all watching, like I always say. Y'all remember though, man, keep them squares, rats, clowns, chomos, pedos, gunners, wannabe island boys, and clout chasers out your circle, man. Till next time, this is the one and only I Am My Team, Frog.
I'm a criminal, I'm a cool nigga, but I got a limit though.
I'm a cool nigga, but I got a limit though, cause I'm a criminal, yeah, I'm a criminal.